So, Panu, I know you've been in the film industry a while.
Yes.
You wear many hats. You do production, you do sales. I know you made some documentaries.
Yeah.
So this is your first fiction feature.
Yes.
Why horror?
Of course. I mean, it's because that, as you know, that I have been in the industry for almost 20 years, and of course, horror is easy to sell, and you know that people like horror, and I think that is one of not many genre that can attract audience easily, universally. So that's why we decided to make a horror film.
But behind your horror, there's an aboutness to your story. Can you explain the process of what you really wanted to say and how you put it into a horror film?
Yeah, actually, I have to tell you not a long story, but I try to shorten it down. So my friend and I, Kong, as you can see his name in the credit. Yeah, we are a Muslim in Bangkok,
Okay.
And so both of us feel uncomfortable, especially after the 911, because as you know that the image of the Islam was very very bad at that time, and for us, I don't want to say that we are moderate, but we don't. Sometimes we have a question with our religion, but we were affected by that incident, and we realized that there are two voices. Whenever these two voices shout, people will listen to these two voices. The first one is the voices from the Western media. Yeah, whenever they report about Islam, at that time it's very bad. Another voice is from the extremists. Like whenever you heard Bin Laden say something, people would listen to him. So we are in between, and we felt very uncomfortable. So that's why we decided to make a documentary that tell the story about the moderate Muslim in Bangkok or something like that. So, and after we show our first film to the audience, the reaction was very positive, especially from the non-Muslim. They seem to understand. So that's why we think that what we did at that time was very right. So that's why we decided we kept on making documentaries, and until one day we think that we have to change, because I think we could not communicate with the young generation today, or maybe a lot of people think that the documentary is too difficult to digest. So that's why we decided to make the feature film horror, but we still add our statements in the film, which is we want to tell the story about the moderate Muslim, and at the same time we want to present the coexistence in the film. So that is the reason why we decided to make The Cursed Land.
So the documentaries very much informed this film, is that right?
Yes.
And where were the documentaries seen?
You mean where?
Yeah, were they seen at film festivals, on television?
Yeah.
etc.?
It was. I and my friend and I we produced 4 documentaries, and they traveled to many film festivals, including Yamagata Documentary Film Festival, Vancouver, and even Busan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Ananda, you have a mic, great. How did you?
I'm still here.
Yes. How did you
It's
get?
been a long day.
Thank you very much. How did you get involved in the project? And what was your impression of the script?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this back to Panu because, from my understanding, that Panu and my manager had conversations about working together. On my end, it was just the script itself. So, from my understanding, there was like a lot more working in the background to have me part of this film, because in the beginning I understood that I think the intention wasn't to have the title characters played by well-known actors.
Yeah. Actually, I can add this because when Kong and I began to write the script, we had two actors in our mind. The first one is Panu Aree, because
sure.
you know that we start thinking of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everyone know who Bront is in the film?
Yeah, he plays the him characters.
Right.
And another actor that we inspired by her is Janice, because her face look very cinematic. So that's why. But for mid character is very difficult because he's a weak man. He's very fragile. To be honest, Ananda is not our first choice because he is too good to be true for me, because he's a superstar, and I and Gong said that Ananda might not be interested in our project, and that at that time he just played superhero movie. It's called the Kun Pan. It's he plays a tough guy, and I don't think that Ananda would agree to play a weak man or something like that. But at the end we think that that Ananda, he's quite famous, not just only in Thailand but also in Asia or maybe in the world. So that's why, I and Gong said that let's try. I know his manager's number, so that's why I contacted your manager, and I passed her. I gave her the script, and then she passed to you. And I think in less than 24 hours or 48 hours, she came back to me and said that Ananda said okay. I was very surprised. It's like a dream come true for me also.
Yeah, there was that hesitation around the idea of like you have to play a father, and and on my end I wasn't. I wasn't that concerned about the character itself, because I remember reading the script and I loved the script.
Okay.
And that was the main motive behind being part of the film. On top of that, the producer, the DOP, a lot of people who were part of the main crew of this film were people that I regarded in a very high way, and I felt like, even just by the DOP himself, I would want to be part of this film.
This is the DP who has been working, a very seasoned DP, right? You were telling me about?
Yes. The DP, he usually work with Penek, Ratanarung, and then he rarely work with anybody. So that's why he's like Ananda to me, because he's too good to be true for me. So that's why we try to find his number, and then
I need to change my marketing. No, if I can find more scripts like this, I'd be working forever. I mean, it's at the end of the day, I think not. Just to add to what Panu was saying, is that I think a lot of people who came on board this film came on board purely out of the content itself. Because like when you say it's for us in Thailand to have our DOP Pidang, I thought he was retired. Oh. I thought he'd it was inaccessible. And the fact that you said like, oh, Pidang's going to shoot this film, I'm like, holy shit, I'm in all the way. If this person's shooting the film, it's going to be amazing. And
you said you really loved the script. Can you tell us what specifically struck you about it?
I could see clearly where the genres were, right? It's clearly a horror film. There's a haunted house. There's a ghost. There's a family that's being haunted. But more than anything, I think the thing that I took away from the script the most was that there was this idea of, when you say cursed land, and we've had this conversation many times. The idea is like, what does that mean? Like, where does this land come from? What does this house stand on? What is the history of this land? And I found that to be quite fascinating, that we could tap into all like these typical like horror tropes and genres, but still like go a bit deeper. And that was part of the reason why at the beginning of the film I said like that the film is actually based in a certain time where there was like conflict down south between Thailand and the Muslim separatists. There's an insurgency down south, right? So, and that for me gave the film a different layer that I felt like was different to most other horror films that are typically like play into that Asian horror genre. So I always felt like that was very interesting about the script.
And for me, the finished film is the same thing. There's a certain added layer. Panu, can you maybe add to that and put it into historical context for us, like we started to in the intro?
Yeah, and I think if you watch the film, you understand that, one of the main characters are the Malay slave who were brought from the south, and then they were forced to work in Bangkok to dig the canal. So 200 years ago, Siamese government it invaded that area, and then they occupied that land, and then they brought the slave to Bangkok to work. So to me, this history is not what should I say? I don't want to say that it's purposely hidden from the textbook, but it's not quite well known. So that's why we think that maybe we should use the film to explore what happened in the past, something like that, and that is the background, and I think that to me, history is like a ghost. I mean, it will keep haunting you if you not accept its existence. So that's why I and my friend decided to make this history to emphasize that the ghost will keep coming to haunt you as long as you do not accept that it exists. I don't know, you understand what I mean? Like a history, I mean, if you keep hiding them, I think that it will keep harass you always. It's like the situation in the south. It keep happening. Yeah, and I think one day if we admit that what happened in the past, I think maybe that might help. It's like you might be able to suppress the jinn.
Well, that's a perfect segue into our first audience. We have a lot of audience questions. So, and the first one is, do you believe jinn are real?
To be honest, I have never experienced confronting or experience something like that. So, in my opinion, it's very difficult to answer because as a Muslim, I have to believe, but in real life, I have never experienced something like that. So I think that maybe half. Yeah.
Was the shrine not working and the dad removing the Muslim talismans a way of saying that society does not work without coexistence? That's a long question.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Was the shrine didn't work,
Yeah.
and then the dad took off the Muslim talismans. So are you saying society? Is this a symbol that society needs coexistence to work?
Yes, I think
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the main theme of the movie, because at the end, you have to help each other. Like of course, I mean at first, even the monk cannot help. But if you trust each other, him and Mit, they trust each other. At the end, they can overcome the jinn. So it means that coexistence help. Yeah.
This is a question for the director. Congrats on your first fiction film. What are the biggest differences between documentary and fiction when it comes to story?
I think to me, I'm not sure if this is a good thing or bad thing, but I decided to make this movie when I just turned 50. So I think I'm not sure if I'm too old to start doing something like this, because at this age, maybe some director might have their fourth or fifth movies. So it's quite difficult for me, because when the difference between making documentary and making a feature film, this is very simple. For example, like when I forgot to shoot some when I forgot to shoot some cut. For documentary, you don't need to care anything. You just go back and then just shoot it. You don't need to turn on the light or something like that. But making movie, if you forget to have some cut or shoot some cut, it's it will be a big problem, because you have to reset everything. So sometimes I think that, hey, why don't make it? I talked to the DP. I asked him if it's possible that we just just shoot it, no need to use the light. But he said that no, you cannot do that, because the light will not continue or something like that. So this is the good example how difference between making documentary and movie is. But the rest I think the same, because if you have for me, as I told you, that coexistence is the main theme of the documentary and the film. So that's why I see no difference between the theme, but it's just only the technique which is different.
For Ananda, your relationship with the on-screen daughter was very interesting. Any prep work you two did before going into production?
Actually, the most nerve-wracking thing about coming into this film was actually working with Janice, because Yeah, there was this hesitation to speak to her because we had a 20-year difference in age, and I always felt like I didn't know how to start to communicate with her. And there was a lot in the script that wasn't written, especially in the backstory between these two characters. And so I was lucky that Janice was, she's, how would you say? She's like a bit older than her age.
Yes.
And
She's more mature.
she was a very mature person, and like quite the consummate actor. So it made it very easy. So we spent a lot of time speaking about the stuff that wasn't in the script itself, and the script doesn't quite touch upon this. There's a lot of in the film where like the daughter character is like, "Dad, you're doing this again," and we never knew what that was. So we would always. It was hard for me to speak to her in the beginning, but to then speak to her and then to find out that she was very mature and she was, in fact, looking for the same thing that I was as well. And we spent a lot of time with Panu, and we went through all the possible history between the characters and so on. And I'm not quite sure. Like in the film, does it come out that Janice's character wasn't actually meant to be
the real
the real?
Yes,
is that,
yes, yeah.
Is that told in the film?
Yes, it's it's in the film. Yes.
Okay.
In the scene where they are at the mosque.
And so we spend a lot of time just discussing when the characters became close, possibly when they argued, if she felt like my character was a father figure or not, and more than anything, it's the idea of having some kind of shared history, so that like in the scenes where we had to trust each other, we could go back to something that we spoke about, some kind of history that we agreed upon, and it was really nice because she was extremely mature about the whole situation, which I was very worried about because I'd never played this type of character before.
And coming from your background, Panu, what experiences did you draw on to direct them in this way and direct all the actors, since you had been previously working in nonfiction?
Yeah, I think I have to thank to this person, Mr. Nonzi Nimibut. He's the producer of the film, and I think people know him. He made a lot of international success of full movie like Nang Nak or Chandara. So he helped me a lot. I asked him the advice, and sometimes he helped me guide, because we talk a lot, especially on the first 2 shooting days. Yeah, he helped me a lot communicate with the actor. But after that, I think sometimes we talk, like Ananda said. The good thing for Ananda and Bron and Janice is, sometimes they have a question, and the questions sometimes are not from the script. They just want to know the background of the characters. So that's why when I explain to them, and sometimes they add some dimension into the character. So this is how we work together. We talk, and then until we can see the same page. So that's why that make the shooting go smoothly.
Well, we're pretty much out of time. I just want to ask you a very quick question. what is your next project?
I have to. I don't know. I still have the answer even to me, but I think that after. Okay, this is what I feel inside when before I watch the whole film, finished film. I'm not sure if the film is good enough because I had watched it for maybe 100 times. So, but when I was at the premiere and after the film was shown, and I checked the Twitters and I found that a lot of people like the film. Thanks them a lot. So I think that at least I have confidence to think of another project. But now I don't know what I'm going to develop. But the reaction encouraged me to move on, to think of the new project. Yeah,
well, we look forward to it indeed. Thank you so much, Panu and Ananda. Thank you.
Thank you very much.